yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough.
Hey my people, how you doing? I hope you're having a damn great day. Welcome back to the channel, and today we will be discussing the role of a wide playmaker, and namely David Beckham, and more or less the players that you can use in FIFA 23, as well as the instructions, of course, in order to create and recreate the set of instructions that David Beckham flourished under at Manchester United, of course. So essentially we're going to be discussing the role of a wide playmaker. They are essentially the modern day number 10, what you would envision a Kevin De Bruyne, a Bruno Fernandes, of course, James Maddison. We saw last season he played as a right midfielder, which is more or less the David Beckham position, being the playmaker for the likes of Leicester City. I would also imagine the likes of Ziyech, of course, their innate ability to find deep crosses into the box, of course, have the natural ability to just find passes onto running strikers or running on midfielders. So, of course, in this video, we will be discussing all of that. And obviously, I've just listed the players that I think are really good at that role and can potentially fulfill that role going forward. Of course, I did forget to mention the likes of Dominic Szoboszlai, recently signed from Liverpool, and he has that ability to either play as a right winger, or when he does play in the midfield three, he will look to drift wide into that right-hand side and look for crosses, of course. So the main role of a wide playmaker is more or less to dictate play, be the number 10 like I did mention, and have the ability to string together some passes, get the midfield moving, but also the ability to have a wide passing range. So it can be a short 5-yard pass, or he can potentially hit a 50-yard ball onto an on-running winger or a forward, of course. Of course, David Beckham was really good at being able to pick up the ball either as a DM or as a right back and just spam these long booming balls over the top. Now, some key attributes that I did look at before selecting those players that I did mention was the fact that they needed to have a good first touch, they needed to have a good cross on them, but more importantly, they needed to be able to pass with both feet. Of course, David Beckham was very much ambidextrous, or is that's your hands, isn't it? Whatever it is for your feet, that's what you need to be. And more or less Bruno Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne, James Maddison, of course, the likes of Dominic Szoboszlai, and mainly Ziyech, they are all very two-footed and can deliver crosses with either or. And it does help quite a bit in that wide space. But mainly what will happen is in the final third, the player will not look to penetrate into the box. They'll more or less look to try and hang around the box and try and deliver a cross into it. Of course, we've seen Bruno Fernandes do that countless times, as well as Kevin De Bruyne. He looks to try and drift into that half space with the underlapping winger cutting inside and then delivering a cross. Of course, if you are playing more or less a 4-4-2, the Sir Alex Ferguson position that David Beckham had was on that right-hand side. If you are using that formation and you are using a right winger for that, more or less don't look to try and cut inside with that winger. Look to try and hug the touchline and fire in crosses, or potentially feed another supplying runner. So, in terms of the instructions for this formation, of course, I have gone with the 4-4-2 formation. Of course, aggressive interceptions will be on. David Beckham was a very hard worker, and more or less all of these players that I have mentioned, apart from Ziyech maybe, are very hard workers and do have a load of stamina to burn, so it won't be that much of an issue. You do want them to have more of a free role, so they can drop into that DM role and they can have the ability to maybe drift slightly infield a little bit, but at the same time you don't want them to be able to get into the box. You want them to hang around the edge of the box in case there are those loose balls that are fired in and it does fall to them, and then they can cross it back in or potentially get off a shot themselves. And more importantly, you do want them to come short and be more involved in the builder play in the midfield, which is what this role does entail, because you do want them to be on the ball as much as possible in order for them to flourish. So yes, the role of a wide midfielder or wide playmaker in FIFA 23. I hope these instructions have helped you. If they have, hit that like button down below, subscribe if you are new, and of course, until the next time, I hope you have a damn great day. I am out.